Have you ever thought what SQL queries are actually running when you launch something like Eloquent statement? And in this video we will jump through a few Eloquent structures here commented out for now, and we will see what's under the hood, what SQL queries. And why you need to know all of that? Because in case of performance issues you would know exactly what queries are under the hood, and it would be easier for you to debug and to fix the issues. And for that I have a demo project based on our quick admin panel, just a simple table of data, and on the bottom we have our beloved Laravel Debugbar. For those of you who don't know what Laravel Debugbar is, it's a package, Laravel package on top of PHP Debugbar. It's very simple to install it. There's one command which is compose or require, and then on the bottom you have that bar which shows the queries and other data. One notice, you have to make sure you run that only on your local environment and maybe dev environment, so that's why it's --dev, because in production if you run that then you will expose all your SQL queries to any customer, which is a security issue. So first, what is the actual query for post all? You will probably think it's select star from posts, right? But if you use SoftDeletes, the actual query is select from posts where deleted at is null. In my case, for model post, there's use SoftDeletes, and that automatically adds where deleted at is null to all the queries for this model. But keep in mind, if you launch it in a different way, so post equals db table get, which means you use query builder instead of Eloquent, look what happens. We refresh the page, and we have two queries. One is with deleted at is null and one without it. So when using SoftDeletes, keep in mind it's on Eloquent model but not on query builder. Okay, let's comment those out and move on. Our post has many comments. So in post model there is a relationship called comments, has many comments. And in the database I've seeded 1,000 comments to random posts. So posts, there are 100 posts and 1,000 comments. And we launch the query, querying only the posts that have comments. Refresh the page, and we get this query. Select from posts where exists. So Eloquent has statement, has operator, launches a subquery of exists select, and also deleted at is present here as well, because on comments I also use SoftDeletes. Now let's uncomment another one and query the posts with comments that are written only today. So in the last 24 hours, it's a sub-day. And we will launch that query and we see 0 posts because I've seeded the database a bit earlier, but here's the query. It's still the same query as has and whereHas, but whereHas adds a condition. So where exists select from comments, and this is what have been added. Created at is bigger than certain time. So this part is added to exist select from subquery. Next, I want to show you a feature called withCount in Eloquent. Not sure if you know that, but you can count the relationship amount of records, and it automatically becomes comments underscore count. And you can also combine those queries, whereHas, so the same whereHas with count of comments. And let's change that to sub days, for example 5 days, and we launch the query. And here's our query, a bit bigger. Select post star, then subquery select count from comments, and then also where exists with condition created at, the same as we did in the previous example. So this is probably not the most effective way because you're querying comments twice, for withCount and for where exists, for whereHas. So this is an example why you should be careful combining a lot of Eloquent magic methods, because you need to know what's under the hood. And that query may be slower if you have a lot of records, like millions of comments. And final thing I wanted to show you are two queries, two Eloquent statements that launch two queries each. So there are some magic stuff in Eloquent, as I call it, for example, firstOrCreate. It's a method that queries the post with ID 10, so that's the first array of parameter, or if it's not found, it creates the title random author ID with ID 10 and returns it. If we launch that page, it is only one query, select from posts where ID equals 10, so it is found. But if we do ID something totally different and we relaunch that, We have now two queries, select from posts, it's not found, and then we see insert into posts random and author ID 1. So that's how helpful Eloquent can be when you want to avoid two queries. There are some operators and functions to do two-in-one. Another example of that two-in-one queries is many-to-many relationships with pivot table and method sync. Method sync takes all the existing records in pivot table, takes the new records from post, and then match them together and delete what is deleted and insert what is inserted. Let's take a look. So in my user edit form, we have a pivot table for many-to-many relationship for rows. And in the database, it's a pivot table with role user ID 101, and role ID 2. So if we delete role ID 2 and assign role ID 1, let's see what happens. I will comment out the redirect and return the view, so it would show the debug bar on the same page. We save, we return random view, but here's the query. There are three queries actually. Select from the pivot table, then delete what is unnecessary, and then insert the new value. So that is how many queries are actually launched when you do the sync thing. If you want more videos on Eloquent and Laravel, subscribe to the channel, and you can support this channel by doing one of two things. Enroll in one of my Laravel courses at laraveldaily.teachable.com, or use our Laravel admin panel generator at quickadminpanel.com. And see you guys in other videos.